ESPN insider Daniel Orlovsky has shouted out the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers, and Cowboy fans are going to love what he had to say. We're going to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Cowboys Football 365. You're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Hit that subscribe button. But getting into the news for today, coming from ESPN on Get Up, Dan Orlovsky was asked if Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens were the best wide receiver duo in the league. He responded, "They're the best wide receiver duo in the league by far, and the best three-headed monster if you add Jake Ferguson." Now, of course, Cowboy fans know all about Ceedee Lamb, the number one wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the number one overall wide receiver in football, depending on, if it was 2 years ago or if he's healthy, depending on a whole lot of factors, but a receiver who's supremely talented ever since we got him in the first round out of Oklahoma. But Ceedee Lamb, so far on the season, has been injured, which means the Dallas Cowboys' new pickup has had to step up, and he has stepped up in a huge way. George Pickens was acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers for a third-round pick and a day 3 pick swap, and he has been nothing short of a revelation for the Dallas Cowboys, instantly getting on the same page with quarterback Dak Precott and leading to monster games and putting up a monster stat sheet for how early in the season we still are. Looking at his stats, 6'3", 200 pounds, already 36 catches for 607 yards, and the most important stat for a guy like George Pickens, 6 touchdowns. Now, George Pickens, he's not someone who's going to run up the receptions the way Ceedee Lamb might, but what he will do is he's going to generate explosive plays. George Pickens, not the world's best route runner, but he makes up for it by making amazing contested catches if you can put the football on him while he's being closely contested. Dak Prescott is clearly a good enough quarterback to put the football right on whatever shoulder George Pickens needs the ball on. George Pickens is going to run a lot of outside routes. He's going to be a pure X receiver lining up outside, and Dak Prescott needs to make sure he's accurate, throwing the football away from the defensive back in a spot that George Pickens has the opportunity to get the football or no one has the opportunity to get the football. And Pickens has used that opportunity to make circus catch after circus catch after circus catch. And he's really, really doing well this season. And he's something that a lot of people did not see coming. Pickens had some character concerns with the Pittsburgh Steelers and even in the first couple of weeks with the Dallas Cowboys. But it looks like he's really settling into his role. And he looks like he has a home in Dallas, hoping that we can get him locked up long term. But we're going to see what Jerry Jones decides to do when it comes to this player. And we need multiple wide receivers clearly because the defense cannot stop a nosebleed right now. We're going to see what moves are going to be made to pick up more defensive help on that side of the football. Jerry Jones has come out and said that there is defensive help coming, but we, as of this moment on Friday evening, do not know what those actual pickups are going to be. We don't know if it's going to be star player, if it's going to be just a not as good player, or if it's just going to be DeMarvion Overshown coming back. That might be what Jerry Jones has been referring to when he's talking about help is on the way with the defense. And DeMarvion Overshown is help, but he's not going to turn this defense from the worst defense in the league into something significantly better than that, which is why it's great that this wide receiver duo is doing their thing. Ceedee Lamb now back and healthy from his ankle injury suffered earlier on in the season, and we're going to finally be able to see exactly what Dak Prescott is capable of when he has an amazing trio of receiving talent around him. Jake Ferguson is the third name that has been brought up into the discussion. He has just signed his second contract with the Dallas Cowboys after coming out of the University of Wisconsin. Jake Ferguson, he has been a dog. He's been, whenever there's a fight, first guy in the fight, ready to stand up for his teammates, rough some guys up, which is great football, physical game. We need people who are willing to fight for the star on the helmet, fight for your teammates. Love to see what we're getting at Jake Ferguson. But this year, Jake Ferguson has been even better. Currently fantasy football tight end 1, but more importantly, his statistics, 51 receptions, 334 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging 6.5 yards per reception. I believe these rankings, as shown, are all receivers in the league, so not just tight end. So I think he's 4th overall in receptions for wide receivers as well as tight ends, which is crazy that Ferguson has been that productive over 7 weeks. And I love to see how he's developing. We signed him to a big contract, but you knew Jake Ferguson was going to be able to live up to it because he has shown the requisite sparks that we got to see before a player is going to break out. Tight ends always take a little bit longer when they get to the NFL because they have to learn the running game as well as the passing game, both of them at the same time. It's hard enough to learn one of those sides of the football. Forget about both and forget about at the exact same time. And then add on being good at both blocking and running routes and receiving and doing everything all at once. It's making my head spin just talking about it. Love to see that Jake Ferguson is going absolutely crazy. Dak Prescott he's rising up in the MVP talks right now, looking like he's going to at least finish in that top 4 conversation, but it is going to come down to what does the Dallas Cowboys record look like at the end of the year, because let's face it, MVP usually it just goes to, most statistically amazing quarterback. It's really quarterback of the year, not most valuable player. Although last year when the MVP voters got sick of giving the award to Lamar Jackson, they decided, oh, now it does stand for most valuable player. We'll give it to Josh Allen. That was absolutely ridiculous, but we are hoping that, whether it's most valuable or most statistically impressive quarterback, Dak Prescott has a great chance at winning both of those conversations because, maybe not most, in terms of how valuable he is to the Cowboys, yes, he has one of the best receiving cores around him, including, Javonte Williams has been a revelation, and tight end really, really good, as well as the backup tight ends, I'm blanking on the tight end from Minnesota, but Brevin Spann-Ford, he's pretty good, as well as, we're going to figure out what Shoemaker is going to give us out of Michigan. But even with the weapons around him, Dak Prescott, because of the defense is so bad, he is very, very important to the offense. Now, Josh Allen is probably more valuable to his team because the weapons around him aren't close to as good as the weapons around Dak. But Dak Prescott, that's why we're hoping that it goes back to being quarterback of the year award, where it's just a quarterback with the most impressive stats are going to be able to win that award, because that's what gives Dak Prescott the biggest chance to win the NFL MVP award in 2025. Because with the defense being as bad as it is, people are going to score quickly against our defense, which means Dak Prescott is going to be able to run a lot of plays, be able to throw the football a lot if we're playing from behind, and be able to run up stats, especially when you are throwing to great receivers like George Pickens and Ceedee Lamb. So Dak Prescott has been criminally underrated ever since he was drafted. People like to hate on him just because he's the Cowboys quarterback. I liken him to Carson Beck from Georgia a couple of years ago, where when the team is winning, no one wants to give that quarterback credit because, he's just the people around him are really, really good. And I would say it blows my mind, but it doesn't blow my mind because Cowboys fans are loud and they're everywhere. So people, when there are fans like that, people just don't want to see them happy unless that you are a Cowboys fan, which obviously, then you do want to see Cowboys fans happy. But when one fan base sees another fan base, just more excited about their team, it makes them jealous. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching the video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and thanks for watching.